The Thunder are one game away, and the College World Series is in full swing. Let's talk about it. All right, our second to last episode of season 4. This has been a blast, man.
Yeah, it's been like a pretty short season, I guess, like compared to our other seasons.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it's been fun. I like what we talked about.
I'm excited to take the changes we made this season with like the content structures and stuff and bring it into next season. With football, I think we'll have a lot of fun with that.
Yeah,
and we should I have a feeling we can grow a lot next season as a channel. So we'll see. Y'all can help hit that subscribe button. Whatever.
We don't really ask much.
Whatever.
Hit the subscribe button, like the video, put on noties.
Yeah. Okay. You don't have to put on noties or anything.
Yeah, if you hit the like button, you'll get a cookie.
Yeah. Okay. So we got an NBA Finals segment. Then we'll do recent rundown. And then we got College World Series. A really fun College World Series segment. So y'all stick around for that. But anyway, start with the NBA. Thunder up 3-2. They're one game away from the NBA title. I just said that though. You just heard that.
Yep.
So we're gonna say 2 things that each team must do to win, and then what a title would mean for each team. So why don't we start off? Let's start with OKC and do all of OKC and then all of Indiana.
Okay.
Just go.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
You wanna go first?
Yeah, I'll go first about OKC. One thing I said they need to do to win is, especially since you're one game away now, do not let the Pacers dictate how you play. You need to win 1 out of 2. The only way I think the Pacers can do that is if the only way they let the Pacers win is if they let the Pacers dictate how they play, meaning they play at the Pacers' speed and then get turnovers forced by the Pacers because of the speed that they're playing at. Play at your speed, play at your tempo, and let the game come to you, and I think they can do a really good job in these last couple games.
Yeah, my main thing for OKC, which after watching all of these games, it's so obvious what OKC needs to do to win, and it's just shoot better from Indiana from 3. You shoot better from 3, you're going to win every single game. Because in these games, you have turned them over more. The only way Indiana has been able to stay in games is because they're out shooting OKC in almost every single game. Except last game, in Game 5, where OKC shot better. Finally, shots started going down. We've been asking OKC to shoot well from 3 this entire series. They did it in Game 5. That was OKC basketball in Game 5. They won it because they played OKC basketball. And I think if they continue to do that, it's gonna be a shorter series. They're gonna get it done in 6.
What was it? 23 turnovers yesterday.
For the Pacers,
yeah,
it was like a little less. I think.
I think it was 20? Like 23. It was in the 20s, and they had 32 points off. So yeah, it's not how you win. Anyway, my last thing for OKC is keep the burden off of Shea. Their supporting cast has done an amazing job of coming through. Whether it's J-Dub dropping 40, or even dropping 25, or Chet out there and dropping 20, or Caruso dropping 20 in a game. Like, that's what they need to do, and I think they need to keep doing that. So if you let Indiana focus on everyone except Shea and make Shea do it, they're not going to win. Like, Shea can't score 120.
Yeah.
Right? So I think they need to keep the burden off of Shea. He's still a young player. You know, he can get rattled still, even though he's the MVP. Then keep him loose, keep him playing his game, and keep the burden all off of him and spread it out between all the players scoring-wise.
Yeah, mine is limit Indiana's role players, because in this entire series we've seen the way that the Pacers have stuck in games is because first they shot well from 3, and second of all they've had guys like Benedict Mathurin, TJ McConnell, Obi Toppin have played incredible this entire series. So they've been able to limit these runs that OKC is able to go on because their bench unit is providing so much scoring and defense and everything like that. So if you limit the bench scoring, you'll be able to win these games very easily, whether it's Game 6 or Game 7. And your role players have to step up. So like Aaron Wiggins, who played a really, really good game in Game 5 and Game 3, but didn't have a good Game 4, he has to get going. There's other guys like Isaiah Joe, who has not gotten good minutes in this finals, has to step up. Alex Caruso has been great, but besides that, they haven't had as much bench production as they wanted. Isaiah Hartenstein has not been great. There's a bunch of guys that have to step up if OKC wants to win. So it's limit role player production on Indiana's side, and then you have to heighten role player production on your side.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying. And it's crazy how they have so many guys giving you duds every game, but they're still winning. Like, that's how good this team is.
The fact they won Game 4 is insane.
Yeah.
Like, I can't believe they won that game.
So what would a title mean for the Oklahoma City Thunder? One thing I said is, obviously it would be the start of a dynasty for the OKC Thunder. They have 1,000 draft picks over the next 5 years, 10 years, and they've got all young players that are just, oh my God, they're so good. Anyway, But it would be one of the best complete seasons in NBA history. What are they, like the 5th best regular season record ever?
Yeah.
And I know at least one of those ahead of them didn't win. So count out the 1 or 2 or 3 that didn't win, and they're in the top 5 ever in complete seasons. And this is still a young team, so that'd be insane to have a team like this young. They're like the youngest team in the league, aren't they?
Second youngest.
Have one of the best seasons in NBA history.
Yeah.
It's insane. And then also I said Shea would probably be the GOAT of the Thunder already at his young age. He'd be the 11th player with both the MVP and the Finals MVP in the same year, and he'd bring him to one of the best seasons in NBA history. Even at his young age, he'd be the GOAT of the Thunder.
Yeah.
/ Supersonics.
Yeah, and mine's kind of on the same level. So mine is like, obviously this starts the dynasty for OKC. I believe they can win 3 championships in the next 5 years if they can keep the core together.
They can win 7 in the next 10.
Well, that's okay.
They won't,
that's
but they
not
can.
Possible. But in today's NBA, that's
hey, Bill Russell did it.
Okay, well, I said today's NBA. Bill Russell played.
But today's NBA, like all the NBAs, you know?
Okay. But yeah, obviously I think it would be the start of the dynasty. But second of all, it's kind of what you were saying, but I kind of worded it a little differently. It's leaving a legacy. And it's something that KD, Russ, and Harden weren't able to do. And they got to the finals, and then obviously KD leaves, Harden gets hurt, Russ stays there a couple more years, and he was never able to get back. So, like, a lot of people think right now that Russ might be the GOAT of OKC, but he's never won. So there's a bunch of things that, like, leaving a legacy for Shea and Jalen Williams and Chet, you're starting your dynasty, but you finally leave that legacy that KD was never able to do. And there's just a bunch of things, like, for OKC Thunder fans and OKC Thunder, like, history, that is such a big deal. Because they don't have a big history, right? They were the Supersonics back in what, like, they stopped being that in what, like 2000 and
early 2000s.
5, I think. So
that's
like,
right after Kevin Durant was drafted, so it would have been like 05 or 06 or 07.
Yeah, so like they're not 6, 7.
Don't say that. Like this is no.
So that's really it. It's leaving a legacy to protect Shea. He would be, like you said, he'd go down as one of the greatest of all time for OKC.
The greatest of all time. There's
Maybe.
no like if he's got a championship and he's got an MVP.
I mean, are we counting Supersonics players?
Yeah.
Okay, so like I would say Gary Payton.
Did he win a championship?
He did, and he got to one.
Yeah, so
Shea hasn't played here long enough to be the GOAT. One championship doesn't immediately make you the GOAT. If that's what you think, then...
They have a bleak ass history, man. Like, I would say, like, MVP, Finals MVP, the 11th of all time to have that.
I agree.
And he'd be...
I agree he'd be up there.
And he'd have their first championship, and he's, like, dropping 30 again. I think he'd be the GOAT.
Yeah.
I would say KD is the GOAT right now.
I'd say Russ or KD.
But Gary Payton would be the GOAT of the...
I would say the whole thing, maybe Gary Payton.
So he's undoubtedly ahead of KD if he wins this.
Yeah.
Which I mean, if he's anywhere close to KD and Gary Payton are anywhere
close.
I'd say
it's Gary Payton, Russ, and Shea. Would be my top 3. I don't put really KD there yet because he left and just in the way he left. And I love KD; he's my favorite player of all time. But Russ left a bigger he was there when everyone else left. So yeah. I would put Russ ahead of him.
All right. Well, Shea will be the GOAT in just a couple of days. So anyway, Indiana Pacers now. My main thing for the Pacers. I will say it now. I will say it again. And I don't know how I haven't said this yet before. Maybe I have. Tyrese Halliburton needs to not just be creator. He needs to be a scorer. Now you have to win 2 in a row. Mm-hmm. He has to be a scorer. When he scores 20 in a game this postseason, the Pacers are 8-1. 8-1. It's that simple. Literally just, he looks to score if he needs to. He scored zero field goals yesterday. 4 points, 0 for 6 from the field. He has to be better. He has to be able to look to score and look to create and really not just zone in on passing because 6 shots from your best players, not good. And he needs to score at least 20, 25 a game and have that double-double.
Yeah.
When he scores, the creation will be open. That's how they win. That's how they open up their offense and score 125 in a game. Has to happen for Tyrese Halliburton if the Pacers want to win the series.
Yeah, a lot of people say his biggest strength is also his biggest weakness, right? So, like, his passing sometimes leads to his downfall because he's eventually starts to force stuff when he should be taking the shots. So, I agree with that. I think the main thing for the Pacers for me is they have to limit their turnovers. Like, it's ugly basketball to watch. There was 5 turnovers in a row in that fourth quarter. When they finally made it close, and then OKC went on their run and closed it out in Game 5, it was 5 turnovers in a row in the fourth quarter. That cannot happen in a basketball game if you even think about getting back into it. So, like, limiting turnovers is a big thing.
Oh, yeah.
And then number 2, I would say that we have to, like, hopefully, this is just a hope because you can't really do anything about it, that Halliburton injury is not as bad as it seems. And he's going to play in Game 6. And obviously, that the injury did limit him a little bit in Game 5. A lot of people will say he just wasn't aggressive enough. I mean, he went back to the locker room for a couple minutes. Like, it was that bad that he had to go back to the locker room. So, like, there's a bunch of things that the Pacers have to rely on to win Game 6, but I think the main thing, like you said, is Halliburton's aggressiveness, and that relies on how bad this injury is. So, like, he aggravated the right calf again, or the left calf again, and it was already bad coming into the finals, but he re-aggravated it. So, he's going to play in Game 6, obviously. There's no chance he doesn't play, but depending on how bad that injury is, it's going to matter.
If Halliburton's hurt too bad to where he can't he can't be aggressive, it's not that hard. You just literally shoot the ball. He shouldn't be playing. Period. It's on. I already checked.
Okay. I don't see a blue light.
No, it's not. There it is. Hopefully it's been on. We'll check it. Alright, let's see. Okay, I have 3 things for Indiana. I did my own way today.
Okay.
So my second one is to stop playing from behind. They did it once, right? They won a game coming from behind in this series right after I said they couldn't. I know. But they've done it once. They're not going to be able to do it 2 more times. You saw it yesterday, how they were down 18, they came back, but OKC put their foot down. They're not going to be able to come back in 2 more games in the series. They can do it once, but you're going to have to win twice in a row now. If you can start playing from behind, you can't start games like they haven't been able to, then they're not going to be able to win. Period. You have to be able to start games. You have to be able to play, 48 minutes?
Yeah.
And that's how you win basketball games. You don't win basketball games by playing 1/2.
Yeah, and that's what they did in Game 4, right? And they should have won that game. Like, they started off so hot. They were playing well in the first half, and then they blew it, which is not something we've seen from the Pacers a lot. That was a game they had to win. They weren't able to win it. So if they can try to do that again, it's just...
Yeah.
Go ahead.
My last one is, please, like you just said this, please stop letting the Oklahoma City supporting cast kill you. It's not that hard. You put your best defenders on the other guys and let Shea drop 40. Because if Shea drops 40, you win. If that's all they have, right? So, like, don't let J-Dub drop 40. Don't let Caruso come off the bench and drop 20. It just can't happen. Don't let Chet come off the bench, or not off the bench. Don't let Chet come in and drop 25. Limit them. Let Shea do his thing if you have to, and you can win this series. Yeah. But if they have another big game out of a supporting player, you're done. Like, your season's over. So, get it together, Pacers.
Yeah, I agree.
So, what would a title mean for the Indiana Pacers? It'd mean a lot, right?
Yeah.
Tyrese Halliburton would be the Pacers' greatest player of all time.
Woo!
Period.
Wow.
He is 25 years old.
Wow.
He is 25 years old, and he would already be the GOAT. I do not care what you have to say about oldness and how long you're being there. If he brings them a championship, especially in one of the greatest runs in NBA history, coming off, like, this would be, like, think about this. Like, they were not good on January 1st.
Yeah.
And they came out, and they came back and got, the 3 seed? 4 seed? 4 seed. And they have just made run after run after run. This team doesn't even look that good on paper. They don't look good on paper. But the way they've been able to play together and have this run is insane. And the ease of it, too. Going up 2-0 in all of their first 3 series.
Yeah.
Running through the Eastern Conference. And that's led by Tyrese Halliburton. I think he would be their GOAT. Again, like I said, one of the greatest runs ever. And Pascal Siakam would be a 2-time NBA champion. That's rare air.
Yeah, that's Hall of Fame level.
Less than 100 people have ever done that.
That's Hall of Fame level for Pascal Siakam. I almost put that in, too. Really? We're not good. So Reggie Miller is still, he's not the GOAT.
No, Reggie Miller made 1 finals.
Yeah, he did.
Tyrese Halliburton has made 1 finals. Tyrese Halliburton
one.
is a more complete player. And Tyrese Halliburton, if he wins one, if he loses this, it's still Reggie Miller. If he wins the finals, that's what matters. That's how you leave a legacy. And that's why he would be the
Okay. Mine's kind of for the state of Indiana. Like, winning a championship, which they've never been able to do, for a state that is nothing other than basketball. Like, Indiana loves basketball more than anything in the world, right? Like, we see, like, the Indianapolis Colts. They're really not that big of a fan base. Indiana basketball, the University of Indiana, is
huge
one of the oldest, most storied colleges of all time, basketball-wise. And then the Indiana Pacers have been this team which fans have supported them for so long, and a championship to that great state would be pretty awesome, in my opinion. So I think that's one thing. And the second thing is kind of for the NBA as a whole. It would revitalize how you build a championship roster. Because it doesn't mean you got to go out and get all these big stars. It's finding your guy and building pieces around that guy. And that's what people are going to have to learn from. That's what other GMs and other coaches are going to have to learn from around the NBA on how to build a championship roster. Because if the Pacers are able to come back and win this one in 7, the whole NBA landscape is going to change on what teams want to do and what teams have to do to win a championship. So I think that's a big thing because we've talked about it a lot, how this Indiana Pacers team is not good on paper. But they play together, and they play such a fun style of play, and that's how they win. So,
yeah, Pelicans just moved up in the draft. By the way, they are.
Did they?
No.
Oh.
They didn't move. They moved into the first round, so they are now pick number 7 and pick number 23. They traded with the Pacers.
Interesting.
They gave the Pacers. They give the Pacers. The Pacers have the 23rd pick. They took it from them and gave the Pacers their own 2026 pick.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
I think Pelicans might be trying to move up.
Maybe
get some more capital.
Maybe.
They said they want to move up in the top 5 a couple days ago, but they just can't find anyone that wants them to.
If they don't, I think honestly, like if you can't move into the top 3, just take Derek Queen. Or I mean, there's other guys obviously like VJ and
there's a bunch of other.
And then I would love Ace Bailey.
Ace Bailey could fall.
Bailey could fall. Ace Bailey falls, that'd be awesome. But I don't think he'll fall to 7. Then they can move to 5 and try to get him.
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right, James, what's our next segment?
All right, let's cue the music.
If y'all didn't know, the NBA Finals are going on right now. So the Thunder have 3 wins. The Pacers have 2. It's first and fourth. JJ Spawn wins the U.S. Open at Oakmont Country Club. He's the only player under par at -1, and the only reason he was -1 is because he hit a 64-foot putt on the 18th. Insane. That they're a 64-foot putt away from having nobody under par in that whole tournament. Desmond Bain got traded to the Magic, so the Grizzlies got Cole Anthony, KCP, and 4 extra unprotected first-round picks and a pick swap. So the Grizzlies gave their 3rd best player for 4 first-round picks and a pick swap. Okay, they're cooking over there. All right, Shohei Ohtani started a baseball game for the first time since August of 2023. His first start with the Dodgers, he went 1 inning, 2 hits, 1 run. The Dodgers would win though. The Red Sox called up their top prospect, Roman Anthony, the top prospect in all of baseball. You could say it's been rough as of yesterday. Before their game, had a -21 OPS plus, average is 100. But he hit a home run yesterday, so that number's gonna go up, But he'll be fine. He's really good at baseball. So Rafael Devers got traded the other day, and it was juicy. Like this is a juicy scenario. So I'll tell you what happened or the details, and you tell me what you think. So going to the Giants, Devers going to the Giants. The Red Sox get Jordan Hicks, Kyle Harrison, and 2 prospects, and the Giants are taking on every single remaining penny of that contract. What do you think?
Obviously, as a Red Sox fan, I was a little sad. It brought me back to kind of the Mookie trade back in the day, which we traded him, to a West Coast team for not really a big reason other to get off a contract, and he didn't want to play first base. That was pretty much it. I obviously don't like the move because Rafael Devers, in my opinion, he felt like he was going to be the next guy to finally just be there for the rest of his career and finally maybe get his number up in the rafters one day. Maybe lead the Red Sox to a World Series for the first time in a while. And obviously it didn't happen. So I don't know. I'm a little sad. I'm a little confused, obviously, just on why we gave him the contract and now we don't want to pay the contract. There's a bunch of just moving pieces in this trade that was really weird. It was kind of random, I thought, at this point in time. I thought it would have happened, if it was going to happen, it would have happened earlier, and it ends up happening now. So, I don't know. So,
allow me to fill in the holes a little bit. So, Rafael Devers, obviously when they signed, in the offseason, there was reports that they were going for a third baseman. Rafael Devers was like, no, that's my position. I played third base. What the hell? Right? And so, before they even signed Bregman, it was like a thing, and the Red Sox really handled it poorly with Devers, with their star. You have to be up front with him, right? And they weren't. And they signed Bregman, and Bregman was never going to play second base. They just said that to make Devers happy, which is not what you're supposed to be doing. You need to be telling Devers this is going to happen, and you need to be okay with it, and be up front with him. Instead, they were trying to go around it, right? And Bregman was always the third baseman. And so they put him at DH. That's already a lot of drama going on. Devers already unhappy because of the way his team was treating him. And then Costas gets hurt, and they say, hey, Devers, can you pick up the mitt for us? Go play some first base. And he said no.
Obviously.
And
that's so disrespectful.
No, it's not disrespectful.
Yes, it is.
To say, look, we're paying you $300 million to be on our team.
Not how that works.
A team player, I'll get he's upset, right? And there's a very good chance he actually throws on the mitt for the Giants and plays first base. But the way they handled the third base situation, he wasn't very happy with the Red Sox. He said, you know what? No, I don't want to. I'll DH because that's what you told me I was going to do.
Yes.
And so he started DHing, and that put a lot of bad blood because the Red Sox expected him to go play first base because that's what most guys would. A guy who is a good team player would probably go put on the first baseman. Mm-hmm. And Devers didn't, and so that put a bad taste in their mouth. So that's probably when they started pursuing a trade, thinking about like, hey, we're paying this guy this much money. He's not really being a good leader in the locker room. We're assuming, and he's not really being a team player. Like, we can use that money elsewhere. We just saw the Yankees go use that Soto money and make their team better.
Yeah.
We can do the same thing. So they traded him, and obviously they didn't get a lot back because the Giants are taking the whole contract. That's the biggest asset of the deal for the Red Sox is not having to pay that contract. Yeah. So now they have to, especially the trade deadline and then this offseason, got to make moves, got to get pitching. Got to get pitching because, and you might need to fill.
Those pitchers suck.
Yeah, their pitchers. Who?
No, the Giants pitchers they got suck.
Oh, Jordan Hicks is a good young guy. Like Jordan Hicks,
not that good.
Jordan Hicks isn't very good right now, but he's been good in the past, and he's a young guy who has a hell of an arm. And Jordan Hicks can be a good pitcher one day.
James Tibbs, he's a dog. He actually is a dog. He hasn't played well in the minors, but played Florida State, absolute dog last year for us.
Kyle Harrison's not the worst guy ever. He'll play.
It's not Devers.
Kyle Harrison will play. Jordan Hicks can be good one day. Devers, again, the biggest asset they got was not having to pay the contract. So they're gonna go. They need to use this money wisely because if they can supplement really well with these to make their pitching better because they need it, it's going to be really good. But for now, it's kind of a big wait until the A+ for the Giants. Wait and see what happens. Wait and see what happens for the Red Sox. Red Sox could turn this into an A+. They could turn this into an F. It just depends on what they do with it. Yeah.
It's just sad. I didn't want it to end like this. Yeah. It's kind of. It also feels like the Red Sox start winning again, and this is when you pull the trade.
Well, it's a long process. Like, they were talking about it well before. Like the guy, I think it was like their GM or someone went on the record talked about this. Like, it's unfortunate when it happened while they were winning, but this has been in the works for weeks.
Yeah.
Like, it just they can't control all of that, right? There's another team that wants that's involved. I'm not really looking into all that. It's just what they do with that money. They need pitching. Let's see if they can get it. And that opens up a spot in the lineup for a guy like Roman Anthony, a guy like Marcelo Meyer. They have three of the top prospects in the league, and Campbell, Meyer, and Anthony. They're all in the majors now. They all need somewhere to hit, right? Yeah. So they got bodies in that lineup big time. Yeah. Roman Anthony's going to be a superstar. Like, they're going to be fine.
The process starts now, though. Like, it's not like the young guys now really have time to develop at this point. Be developed.
Trade deadline.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you have to be developed at this point because we want to win now.
Roman Anthony is developed. They had a spot for him.
Yeah, he's just not playing great yet.
He's his first week. Yeah. You know how nervous that kid is?
Yeah. Jack Caglione wasn't nervous.
Jack Caglione didn't get a hit till like his third game, didn't he?
He did in his first game.
Okay, he didn't do anything like
4-hit game.
I think that was his first. His third game had the 4-hit game, I think. So like
he got a hit in the first.
Yeah,
game,
okay,
sure.
He did, but like, guys don't usually perform in their first game or two.
Yeah.
Roman Anthony hit a big homer last night. That'll be good. All right, College World Series, one-worders. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna each give one word to describe each team in the College World Series so far.
Yep.
So let's do it. So we just watched the end of LSU UCLA, and so we're kind of in between there. So we're through the first two rounds.
It's starting right now.
Yeah. So it's probably not starting yet, but yeah.
About to start.
So we're through the first two rounds. So each team has played exactly 2 games. No more, no less. So let's start with it. I said we go to the bracket 1, then bracket 2. So let's start with the 0-2 team in bracket 1, Arizona.
Yeah.
My word for Arizona is just shocked. Because they lost both of those games. Like, in their minds, they're 2-0, basically. Because, like, they were in the lead against Louisville in that elimination game, and they lost, giving up 6 runs in the 8th inning. And then they were beating Coastal Carolina for most of the game. And Coastal Carolina made the comeback and then took the lead in the 8th. So that's both in the final, or took the lead in the 9th, was it?
No.
No, it was the 8th. So they lost both of their games in the final 2 innings. They had momentum in both games. Like, they should have won. But, like I said, they had momentum until they didn't. And so they're, like, kind of in shock that they're going home now.
Yeah, my word was weird for Arizona. Because, like, it feels like it's just a weirdly developed team, and the way they played was just weird. Like, the whole, in my opinion, postseason was weird for Arizona. And that means, like, their pitching was not on par where it should have been. but they still won. They were one of the best pitching teams in the country this year, and it wasn't on par, and they still got wins. They still made it to Omaha. It feels like they should have gone farther with how much talent they have on the roster. And obviously, they blowed the 2 leads, and that's how they're going home early. It was a weird team for Arizona this year. It was weird that they got here in the first place after how not great they played in the postseason compared to the regular season. And, they're the first team to go home. So,
yeah. All right, Louisville. I said resilient for Louisville because in both of these games, they've erased late inning deficits. One in the 8th, one in the 9th. Now, against Oregon State, they ended up losing, obviously, but they made the 9th inning comeback and tied the game. In both of these games, they could have laid down and died. They could have said, "Oh yeah, you got us," right? It's game's over. But they never did. They never went away, and that's why they're resilient.
I said underrated. A lot of people looking into this tournament did not think Louisville would have a chance. Obviously, now they're in the losers bracket, but they're a really good team. Like, they play such a cool style of play of just like, and we were talking about this a minute ago. It's like they play a style of play where they run, they play squeeze play, they bunt a lot. Like, they don't have these amazing power hitters like some other teams did, especially last year and a couple this year. They're just fun to watch, and they're underrated because no one really thought that they were going to be able to be here. And coming out of losers bracket, it's going to be very hard to get to that championship series. I don't think they're going to be able to do it, but they're an underrated team for me in Omaha, probably the most underrated.
That was a weird inning. That was awesome. Like that, it was like Little League baseball out there, running multiple suicide squeezes, and that was crazy. And then running the second whenever you feel like it, also. But I will say, Louisville. Everyone knew Louisville was dangerous coming into the NCAA tournament. Like people, there were people who picked them to beat Vanderbilt. That's how people were high on them coming into the tournament. Maybe not into the College World Series, but nobody was really too surprised when Louisville came out of that regional, even with the number 1 team in the country. Okay, Oregon State. My word for them is unbothered. They've won 5 elimination games already. Don't get it twisted. This team is not ready to lay down and die yet. They lost their first game in the regional. Don't forget. They came back and they won that regional, and they won an elimination game, a game 3 with Florida State. They're not just gonna go away because they lost once. They've done that too many times in this tournament. They know they can make it back, especially with, it's not like it's Vanderbilt waiting on the other side. Coastal Carolina is a really good team, but they're not Vanderbilt. They're not Texas. They're beatable for 2 in a row. Oregon State knows that. They know they can make it back into this bracket and into the finals. Do not count Oregon State out because it is far from over in both brackets, really.
I'm the total opposite way for Oregon State for me. I think my word's mid. I just don't think that Oregon State...
They're a top 8 team in the country. What do you mean mid?
Okay, so
they're number 8.
How many... what are the top teams that host regionals?
16 teams host regionals.
So what's right in the middle of that?
8.
And
how many teams make the tournament?
So they're the definition.
How many teams make the tournament?
No. I'm saying top 16 seed on where they're supposed to be, because they're Oregon State. They're an incredible baseball program, right?
Yeah.
They're an incredible baseball program. They've been there almost every year. I swear they're always there, right?
They're a great program.
And they're at 8. So, I'm not saying... in my opinion, Oregon State is not on the level of some of these teams. I think they get lucky sometimes, which in baseball there's a ton of luck, right? You need luck to win games. But, I just think that Oregon State does not have the stuff to beat Coastal Carolina. Pitching-wise, they have to hit home runs to win games. They don't play great at, doubles in the gap. They don't run great. I just don't think Oregon has the stuff to beat Coastal. I think they're a good team, and they deserve to be here, but I just think they're mid-tier compared to all the College World Series teams.
They're ranked ahead of Coastal. There's no... They can absolutely beat Coastal. They can. I'm not saying they will. I don't think they will.
You know why they're ahead of Coastal?
But they can beat Coastal. Why?
Because they're a better program than Coastal.
People don't care who's
yes, they do. Oh my, yes, they do.
Coastal's won a championship in the last 10 years. Coastal's an amazing baseball program.
Okay, they're nowhere close
they're
to
an amazing
baseball.
Now you're just
Oregon State.
Now you're just dogging Coastal Carolina, man.
So I'm not.
Oregon State
Coastal to win the whole thing.
Oregon State can absolutely win, but
okay,
I'm not saying they will.
We'll watch.
But they can absolutely. This is
Coastal will be the
over.
first team in the championship series. Let's watch.
So let's go to Coastal Carolina now. I'll say Coastal Carolina is qualified. Everyone's calling them a Cinderella team. This is not a Cinderella.
No.
Not a Cinderella. This team is... They won a championship, what was it, 9 years ago?
2016. Yeah.
They absolutely are a great program. They have the talent. They have elite pitching. I mean, one of the best pitching staffs in the country. And their situational hitting has been in this postseason. Every time there's a guy in scoring position, it feels like they get him in. And that's how you win baseball games. And so they need to keep up the situational hitting because although it hasn't been blow your face off offensively, they've been able to be good situationally, and they need to be able to keep that up if they want to keep Oregon State from catching them. But I think they can, and especially with their pitching staff, like they're good enough to absolutely win this whole thing.
Yeah, my one word for them is real. They're the real deal. Like Coastal Carolina, like you were saying, in 2016, that was a Cinderella run. It was like they should not have won the championship that year.
I don't think they lost a game in the whole.
Yeah, I know they were incredible, but they were a Cinderella team. This year, they're nowhere close to that. They are an incredible team. They got a good draw, in my opinion, on that side of the bracket to be able to come out of there. And like you said, their pitching is it's so elite. They also, in my opinion, have the best catcher in baseball right now. What's his name? Caden Bodine, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's Caden Bodine.
I'll show you this.
He is going to most likely be a first-round pick. He's incredible. Like, I've never seen a catcher this good in college baseball in a while. So, like, Caden Bodine, he can run. He can, like, everything. It's just, and he bats leadoff. Coastal, they have guys to be able to win games. They have the pitching to do it, because in Omaha, you need pitching to win. That's, in my opinion, that's the most crucial thing in Omaha. So,
especially in that park.
Yeah, exactly. Like, their three starters, their top three starters, I think are the best out of anyone here in Omaha. So
these are pitches that are balls that Bodine framed that were called strikes, if you can see that. There's one on the plate. So, yeah.
That's insane.
He's
incredible.
Yeah, he's good. Murray State now. Murray State, my word, this is the toughest word for me to find. Like, this is the last team I was thinking about, and I came up with scrappy. Because they fought all the way to Omaha in dogfights with Ole Miss. That dogfight in the last game in the regional. All 3 games at Duke, it felt like, were dogfights. And they got here, and they were just scrappy. Like, they were. And the fact that they stayed in both of these games as well, with the lack of talent that they have, they were obviously outmatched by Arkansas and by UCLA too, really. But they were able to stay in the game and have a chance to win late. And that's what I love to see. And that's what a scrappy team does.
Yeah, I said competitive, which is literally everything you just said. I agree with. Like, that's exactly what Murray State was this year. They were able to just like stick in games, which is like so impressive. Like, even against who they play in the who was it? UCLA when they were down 6-1. They come back. Yeah, 6-0. They come back, make it 6-4. They give themselves a chance in the 9th. Obviously, they can't do it, and they go home. But like, they were competitive this year in regional play and super regional play, and even in the College World Series. They're hard out, and that's what makes them so fun to watch. And
against Arkansas, and then obviously you can't get no hit. That's that kid that threw pitch against them is so much better than any pitcher they've ever seen. And he is on a different level than them. That's why he plays in the SEC. They play in the Missouri Valley Conference. But I think it was it was a bad call in the 9th on the hit by pitch. They should not have overturned that.
I don't think it would have mattered, but
they should not have overturned that. That would have given them life to lead off the inning.
Maybe.
Down by 3 runs. You get a guy on. Their pitcher is obviously losing his stuff.
Yeah.
You could have made him change pitchers, and then you go after, they were in that game until they made that call. Yeah. And so that was unfortunate.
I mean, it was 1-0 to the 7th? Their pitchers were actually pitching a very good game.
They pitched an amazing game.
Arkansas couldn't hit anything either.
The fact that they took that away from them in the 9th was not good. That was too close to overturn. Well, what you call in the field, you call in the field is what you call in the field, and at that point that needs to stand. And the fact that they overturned it is incredible to me.
If you're not knowing what we're talking about, the guy leaned into the pitch
a little bit, and it was I'll give you a little. So what he did was he kind of pulled his elbow in to get away from the ball. Okay. And then as he was turning his back, which you're allowed to turn your back, he kind of stuck his elbow out a little bit as he was turning. I don't think it was voluntary. It might have been, but it was the smallest stick of the elbow as he was turning around, and the elbow ended up here. I don't know if you can see that, but And the ball hit him here. So the ball would have hit him either way.
Yeah, I agree.
Whether he stuck his elbow out or not, the ball would have hit him.
That was a great demonstration, by the way.
Yeah, I watched the replay a few times.
Yeah.
But either way, the ball would have hit him. That was a bad call, especially because they called it a hit by pitch on the field.
Yeah, I agree.
The whole point of replay, undisputed video evidence. He made that move, but it was part of the move to turn his back. All right. Arkansas. This is the one I cooked on, bro. I'm so happy with this. So I said Arkansas is shivering. So their offense, they've scored 4 runs in 2 games. That is undoubtedly horrible.
Yeah.
Their offense is bad right now. But you know what happens when you shiver, James?
What?
You get warmer.
Ooh.
Okay? And
that was a bar.
You can feel them heating up.
Ooh.
You can feel it. No one wants to play Arkansas today. UCLA is quite unhappy about playing Arkansas today. And that's because you can feel them heating up. You can feel that no-hitter. Like, their offense was pitiful against Murray State. But that no-hitter, you can feel it. Like, they're igniting the fire. And nobody wants to play them right now. Nobody wants to see them. LSU doesn't want to see them tomorrow. UCLA's damn unhappy that they're seeing them today.
Yeah.
Arkansas is definitely not done.
Yeah, in my opinion, Arkansas, obviously, they're the highest-ranked team, but, like, they were the most talented, best team coming into this tournament.
They are probably the most complete team in college baseball.
I agree. I think they were the number one seed, but that's just my
opinion. They didn't win enough games to be the number one seed.
Obviously. But, like, so, my one word for them, I was, like, in between a couple, and I ended up going with respectable. Because, like, and the reasoning for that is because when you look at other SEC teams around this year in college baseball, there is a lot of teams that are insanely cocky. They're insanely, like Tennessee's a great example.
Tennessee.
Yeah, obviously, Tennessee. Tennessee's a great example.
I hate Tennessee.
Texas this year. A&M. I think Vandy was even bad this year. And what Arkansas was so cool, especially in their super regional, was how, like, amazing, first of all, their fans were, like, to their players, and they weren't, like, there was no cockiness. There was no, it's get the job done for Arkansas, and that's what's fun to watch about them. It's try to get the job done, which obviously they couldn't do against LSU, but they had to see Cade Anderson, so, like, you know, it's pretty tough.
Yeah.
But
sorry.
All I have to say is I think Arkansas, it just compared to other SEC teams this year, they're so much fun to watch because they don't play with this, like, cocky, annoying, like, you don't like them. Like, I think everyone, like, respects Arkansas. There's nothing not to like about Arkansas. So
Tennessee is the worst. I hate them. I hope.
Well, yeah, that's coming from an LSU fan too.
Well,
obviously.
Everyone in the SEC.
Like, if I was a Tennessee fan, I would.
I have nothing against Tennessee other than that their coach is a complete asshole and their whole team embodies that. Like, it's horrible. But even LSU this year has kind of been on that kind of edging towards that spectrum of like.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Obviously, as LSU fans, but like before LSU was kind of like that, and now you kind of see like the earrings from Dickinson and the.
And
Einstein and like they're kind of like getting kind of douchey, but you know, whatever. Yeah, Arkansas is definitely. But obviously, they're not as bad as like Tennessee. No one is, but yeah. UCLA, I have unproven because what did they won their regional. Obviously, they hosted the regional. Everyone's worse than them in that regional. That's the point of regionals. And then they played UTSA in the Super Regional, and they opened with Murray State, and then lost to LSU. So. Yeah. They haven't beaten top competition yet in this postseason. They obviously fought against LSU, played a great game, but they have a gauntlet upcoming. If they want to make it out of this bracket, you have to play Arkansas, then you have to play LSU twice, and so they're gonna have to prove themselves here. They're unproven now, but they have a great opportunity to prove themselves. I wouldn't call it a great opportunity. I call it a tough situation to prove themselves in if they want to make it back to the final.
Yeah, I said intriguing. Because for UCLA, like you were saying, we haven't seen much in this postseason to kind of, I guess, like buy their stock in a way. Like there's nothing that we've really seen where I can trust this team going into Omaha. But with
other than the fact that they were consistently beating teams that are worse than them.
Exactly. But with their pitching, and if their bats are somehow able to just get hot, this team is scary, and they're intriguing for me because I think. They have the pitching to be able to beat an LSU team twice if they can get there. That's the problem, though. The bats have to heat up. They have to get the offense flowing, and that's what UCLA has struggled with kind of in this postseason, which we didn't see a bunch in the regular season. But in the postseason, UCLA's bats have struggled at times. They've beaten teams because those teams are worse than them. So we'll have to see what happens.
Yeah, UCLA's got nearly 20 guys who are respectable pitchers.
Yeah.
Are they all SEC level pitchers?
No.
No. Some of them are going to get lit up. That's what happens when you put in 9 guys in a game.
Yeah.
A couple of them are going to get lit up. But they have what it takes for sure. Will they do it? No. Probably not. No. But would I be surprised? Well, yes, I'd be surprised if they did it, but they have what it takes.
Yeah.
LSU is the last team. For LSU, I put versatile. LSU can beat you in every way a baseball game can go. They can out-pitch you. They can out-hit you. They can out-contact you. They can out-bunt you. They can out-power you. Like, they can do everything. Like, obviously, pitching, you have 2 of the top 5 pitchers in college baseball, and Cade Anderson and Anthony Einstein. That's how I got a lot of contacts hitters on their team. Chris Stanfield, Michael Braswell earlier in the season. Danny Dickinson, like Steven Milan. These are all guys batting over 300 this season. Even Ethan Fry, Jared Jones, like, not really Jared Jones, but Ethan Fry, like Derek Curiel. Hello. But, like, and then they have the power. Jared Jones, Ethan Fry. Dickinson has hit 12 homers. Milam hit the homer. Like, they can hit the homers. They can beat you in the contact game. They have their situational hitting. Not to mention Jake Brown, Josh Pearson.
Yeah.
That's a tough problem to have.
The good squad.
Okay. But they can. Their situational hitting is amazing with runners in scoring position. They can bunt. They can. If they need to manufacture runs like they did against Arkansas, they can do that. If they need to beat you in a shootout like they did today against UCLA, they can do that. That's why they're so versatile, and that's why they're so dangerous.
Yeah, my word for them is smart, and that comes a lot from Jay Johnson.
Jay Johnson, dude. I cannot say enough about Jay Johnson.
The things he is able to do in high-pressure situations that can be very frowned upon if possible. Like bringing out, let's say, on a lefty-on-righty matchup when your righty is destroying. Or moving Curiel, who has been one of the best hitters in the entirety of the NCAA this year, down to the 6th spot in Game 1. Because, he has been. Right? Like, I don't want to say in baseball because, like...
Aaron Judge. Yeah, okay. Yeah. I was joking.
So, like, moving him down to the 6th spot when he's been one of the best hitters is... It's a ballsy move, but it ends up working out. So, like...
It's a lot of analytical things.
Exactly.
Like, Derek Curiel
that's what's so fun.
Derek Curiel sucks against left-handed pitchers this year. Yeah. That is analytically true. So, he says, you know what? We're going to follow these analytics. Yeah. We're going to move a guy up who has been good against lefties, Josh Pearson.
Yeah.
Right? And so, he makes a lot of moves that other coaches wouldn't, like you said.
Yeah.
And they always work out because he's so smart. And Jay Johnson, I can't say enough. He's my favorite LSU coach.
Yeah, I agree. And
Paul Maneri was senile. Everyone knows that. Sorry, South Carolina.
Okay, well, yeah. But, like, and another thing on that smart thing is the best LSU team I've ever seen, the way they work walks. Like, they are able to get guys on base almost every inning with a walk. Like, Curiel is the best freshman I've ever watched in baseball at knowing his zone. Like, knowing what's going to be a ball and a strike. Knowing how to work a walk. Knowing what pitches to swing at. As a freshman, that's insanely hard.
That's something they obviously worked on. You see that with a guy like Ethan Fry. It's been amazing.
Yes.
Jared Jones, pitch selection's been awesome. Same with Stephen Milam. Like, the improvement you've seen, even out of the returning guys, when it comes to this pitch selection, is really, really good. And that's part of why they are where they are.
It's knowing what pitch they want and, like, looking for that in an at-bat. And that is very hard to do sometimes. And that's what makes the great teams great.
All right. Well, obviously we're LSU fans, so sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. If there's any Tennessee fans watching, don't watch. Please, don't subscribe.
Yeah, look, you're just
get out.
Get out of here. Hey, if you're a Tennessee football fan, like you don't like the baseball team at all, then you're good. But,
yeah. All right. I don't really care. If you are a fan of Tony Vitello, don't watch this program. All right. see y'all in the next one. We have one more episode left of the season. It'll be in 2 weeks because James decided to go on a trip.
We're going on a trip, yeah.
It'll be a while. It'll be like a week after it all ends. But you know what? We're rocking with the punches over here, guys.
Rocking with the punches. It's a bar.
Yeah. Okay. We will see y'all in the next one. Peace.